I'm looking a little, I need a shave, but that's okay. I hope you guys are doing really well. It's been a minute since I made a live, but it's because so much stuff has been happening. Now, we all know it's 8/8 today, Lionsgate, big day. And I think that I'm being really called to do a lot of healing, and to put pretty much my life back in chronological order in a certain way. And today also marks the first day of my PTSD therapy. I started a trauma recovery outpatient program. Just like I did the Monroe Institute, I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to share with you guys the things that I covered. I'm going to share with you my homework and where I'm at. And we're going to walk through my trauma healing. Because I think that, the traumas that I have are not just based in the military. I've been going through trauma for a long time. I feel like we all have plenty of traumas, I'm sure. But I feel like there are a lot of traumas that I didn't get to heal that got meshed together with a lot of other things. And I think that with this treatment, I'm going to find and process. I'm just going to process. I think there's a lot of processing. Like telling the story, it's going to be a lot of processing. And being able to do it in a therapeutic setting with someone that is qualified to handle that type of trauma, I think is going to be really therapeutic for me. For you guys as witnesses and as my support group, which I appreciate all of you for being a part of that. I will be letting you guys know kind of what I've been talking about, like what I talked about, like what I covered, like a gist of what I've covered, and then I'm gonna talk about like any homework that I have, like or any things that I need to do, and then so I'm gonna share that stuff with you. So right now, pretty much we just talked today. We're trying to share our perceptions with each other so that she can best do the treatment, because I feel like it's really important to understand how I'm perceiving the world so that she can understand how I'm perceiving the world so she can best help me. And pretty much I explained to her how I see time as nonlinear, and that in that like my soul fills the now and my body is the vessel for that, and that there are certain parts or aspects or fractals of my soul that occupy my body, my vessel, at certain parts of my life. So like, I have a bunch of J names. I'm sure you guys have seen that. They're all me. They're all different facets of me, and it's my soul filling this vessel. And at certain points, there will be parts where that soul swaps and I get a different part. And I think that we all go through that. I really do believe that we all do these things unconsciously. And I think you can consciously ask for a soul swap as well, where there's a different part of you up there. You know what I mean? A fresh J. And I feel like it was important to explain that to someone that I see these things happening, and to not feel crazy, to feel like it's woo woo or hypothetical. I really do feel like we have like neural presets in certain ways of like settings. I have J1, J2, J3. Like we got it, and I think that it's a part of mentally developing, emotionally developing. I don't know if all people have that capacity, and I think we all have the ability to, but I don't think everyone's ready to embrace that capacity. That's okay. But we're gonna focus more on me than everyone else, because I think everyone else is I'm the exception, obviously, because I'm the one doing it. So I'm going to focus most of this stuff from my perception, and I just want to say that the way I've been perceiving things is just that, the difference between fantasy and reality are like almost a hair's difference. Like, I can dream, I can imagine things, and they will happen in real life. Like, it just will happen. But I understand there's a latency. I understand that there are things that you can manifest that aren't good for you. You could ask for those things, or you can ask for the thing that you wanted or better. And sometimes what you want or what's good for you isn't always what you want, and what you want is not always what's good for you. And sometimes you'll get what's good for you over what you want, and sometimes you'll get what you want. Sometimes you don't get what you want because you got what's good for you instead. I think that there is a higher version of me taking care of the me that I am right now, so that I can be the best version of myself. I think even with all the things that I've encountered in my young life, now that I'm growing to a different stage of my development, I believe that I'm here to assist those other parts of myself by going through this therapy, by sharing with you guys, processing it, by telling the story, and so that these aspects of myself don't feel like what happened to them and what I feel like happened to them. So what happened to them in reality, what I feel like happened to them in fantasy, and then what I've experienced are all real. And they're real in the sense that I experienced them. Are they a dramatization of events? Sometimes they are. Is it always 100% true? No. Did I feel like I experienced all of it? Yes. And I think that's important to understand for everyone, in everyone's perception. Everyone experiences trauma. Everyone deals with it differently. Not everyone can handle everything at once. And so I believe when we go through traumatic events, that part, whatever part of my soul, like, gets stuck there for a while, like still processing, stuck in that event. And the only way to get it unstuck is to kind of like share that story with someone. Like, you have to involve them in the story. The reason why I think that telling stories is so important is because I believe when we tell stories to each other, that we're thinking. Like, this is Gaia thinking. When we have these conversations, when we think, Gaia is thinking. When we're talking about these hard problems or experiences and stuff like that, I believe that the world starts processing it too. And I believe that, me going through this PTSD therapy, I hope it reflects out in the big world. I'm happy that I started on Lionsgate because I would love to see this world get treatment too. I feel like we've all gone through trauma. Sometimes it's sexual, sometimes it was physical, sometimes it was emotional, but trauma nonetheless. And I think that it's important that we carve time for ourselves and process those traumas, so that we can continue to live and be the best future versions of ourselves. Because the thing is, most of the traumas that we experienced in the past were never our fault. Either we were too young and naive to understand what was even happening. Sometimes things happen to you, like it just happens to you. You're a victim of it. But you don't have to have the victim mindset. You don't have to be scared that what happened in the past will happen again. And the reason why it won't happen again is because you won't let it happen again. Because you're aware. Because you're cognizant. Because you survived what happened the last time. You won't make the same mistakes twice. You won't. I think that that's something that I've definitely struggled with. I get scared sometimes when I enter certain parts of my time spiral. I see certain signs that remind me of certain traumas, and I can't help but want to avoid those people or things. And I get scared because I just don't want to be hurt again that way. And I know that I won't be, because I won't do the same thing twice. But sometimes I still get really scared about it. And that was something I talked about today. It's a big reason why, like, I'm very strict on myself. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm pretty strict about myself. I'm really lax when it comes to everybody else, because honestly, it's none of my business what you're doing. But me, you're doing it right. You gon' do it right. Like, that's how I see it. And like, I feel like I'm my own dad in that sense. Like, I'm gonna make sure you do it right, boy. I try to work really hard, mentally, physically, and emotionally, so that I'm the best version of myself. But sometimes I feel like I cut myself off, or I get scared that I'm gonna do it wrong, or that I'm not living up to my fullest potential. And I feel like when I get into those mindsets, that's when I'm doing it the most wrong, if that makes any sense. Like, I should allow myself to get tired or take time off or do whatever and process and speak and just be easy. Because I think that a lot of the time I hold myself to such a high standard, and most people don't hold themselves to that standard. And so it can be really hard for me to want to hang out with people that have no discipline in their lives. And that's something I can't really do anything about besides like maybe like chill and just accept people better at wherever they're at. And I do like accept people for where they're at. I just don't want to hang out with you all the time with your undisciplined self. I like to be disciplined. I like certain things the way I like them because I like my life the way I like my life. Other people, I want them in my life, but I just don't want them to mess up my discipline either. You know? I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird balance, but the big thing that we covered today was kind of like my backstory. You guys already heard about it, my friend's passing and my spiritual process. And if you don't know it, then, you can go to the first picture, my Instagram, and start reading and catch me all the way up, and you'll know. But the big thing, I guess, is just that, I live in both the physical world and the spiritual realm at the same time. And every day we work in both worlds. And it happens at a parallel. So, like, the things you do here affect the things that happen over there. One is more dramatic than the other. I believe that my dreams are more dramatic than real life. And yeah, I've been integrating like how to walk that fine line between both, because I like both worlds. Is that weird? Like, I like the spiritual realm. I like it that it's airy-fairy. I like that anything is possible, but you don't develop. It's heaven. Like, things can change, but change happens here in the finite, where it's hard. And that's why we're here, is for change, you know? Because if we were perfect the way we were, then we wouldn't be here, because we wouldn't need to change. But I like to change, which means I like being here, which means I wonder how often I'm here compared to over there. Just makes me think, like, yeah. Dang, and then Jesus came over here and he was like, yo, you guys could be chilling, and they would crucify his ass. Damn. Anyway, sorry, I was just thinking about a lot of different things. But yeah, I just think that when it comes to, like, the blending of these two worlds, I trying to learn, like, how to be in both. And I guess, like, I'm realizing that I have some friends that are imaginary friends, but they're not. They're real people. And then I have some people that are real people in imaginary land, and they don't know it. And I think the worlds are starting to mesh, and they may not fully understand that that's what's happening. Fantasies are becoming reality. Or, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe nothing's happening. I'm just being crazy, and that's why I'm in therapy. But no matter what, I keep writing the story. I'm going to keep talking to you guys about this stuff. I'm going to make a new series about this right now. And I'm probably going to put it on, I want to put it on YouTube as well, under Joel Pays Attention. Or maybe I'll put it on Duke's Closet. I don't know. Probably Joel Pays Attention. Yeah, anyway. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for being here. It's always going to be like this. I'm just going to chop it up with you guys, tell you what my therapy looked like today, and the lessons. My goal, my homework, has been to do exhale long breaths. So, like, when I breathe out, or breathe out all the way until there's nothing left. Hold it, and then breathe in. And that's to kind of help me out when it comes to the imaginary therapy that we're going to be doing next week. I now have the hiccups, so I guess that's it. It's been so much fun. I'll talk to you guys soon. I love you so much. Thank you for being here.